For years, Burkina Faso burned. Its roads turned into war zones, and its children grew up to the sound of gunfire. Al-Qaeda's shadow hung heavy over the north, but that shadow was about to meet fire. President Ibrahim Traoré had declared war, not on a country, not even on a rival faction, but on fear itself. This is the untold story of how a forgotten army turned the tide, how dusty boots marched into hell and came back with victory, and how one man's vision redefined the rules of asymmetric warfare. This is the story of how Ibrahim Traoré's troops defeated Al-Qaeda militants. The war wasn't new. Al-Qaeda had carved its path across the Sahel like a knife through silk. They didn't just kill, they controlled. Entire towns paid taxes to men with no flag. Girls disappeared. Schools turned to ash. The north had become a no man's land. But Traoré wasn't just another president. He was a soldier, and he was tired of watching from a podium. In early January, reports came in from the Soum province. A convoy of aid workers ambushed and executed. One child, 9 years old, walked 17 kilometers alone to report it. That night, Traoré didn't call a press conference. He called Captain Zongo. "Assemble the ghosts," he said. The ghosts weren't regular troops. They were silent, unmarked, invisible. A secret unit trained in reconnaissance, ambush warfare, and desert survival, recruited from the country's toughest, most loyal fighters. And they had one order: don't push them back, end them. To win a war like this, you don't attack the fighters, you attack the system that feeds them. The ghosts fanned out, posing as nomads, traders, even herders. They embedded themselves in villages, made allies of elders, listened to whispers in tea houses, bartered in dusty markets. What they uncovered was shocking. Al-Qaeda's network wasn't just in the forest, it was digital. They used encrypted apps, bought fuel through fake cooperatives, got food from sympathetic NGOs, unknowingly. And most dangerous of all, there was a mole inside Burkina Faso's military intelligence. They called him the Sparrow. Traoré didn't blink. He set the trap. Captain Zongo planted false intel about a weapons shipment passing through the Laroum province. Within 24 hours, that convoy was attacked, ambushed by Al-Qaeda fighters who shouldn't have known it existed. The trap was closed. Using surveillance drones, the military traced the attacker's route back to a small, unmarked compound outside Ouagadougou. Inside, the Sparrow. He was arrested quietly. No press, no announcement, just silence. The war was now urgent. With intel in hand, Traoré activated Operation Black Sand. 5 ghost squads moved into the northern territories, Arbinda, Djibo, and beyond. Their objective: dismantle Al-Qaeda's logistics hub. They didn't come in trucks, they came on foot. They moved like shadows, striking at midnight, disappearing by dawn. One by one, the lifelines were cut. A fuel depot in the Sahel, blown up. A radio relay in the forest, dismantled. A training camp near the Mali border, burned to the ground. But then, they found something darker. In a compound near the Gasquinde forest, they discovered a prison, underground, holding over 30 civilians, mostly women and children, used as bargaining chips, slaves, leverage. Traoré flew in personally. He didn't come with reporters. He came with medical teams, blankets, food. That night, he slept on the ground with the rescued, and the next morning, he gave one order: we don't just fight now, we liberate. The real stronghold was in the Marcoy region, a fortress buried in forest, protected by IEDs and tripwires. The ghosts had lost 5 men trying to get close, but now, with intel, a plan emerged. They wouldn't go through the front, they'd go beneath it. A team of engineers, former gold miners turned soldiers, dug a tunnel over 2 weeks. At 3 a.m., under a crescent moon, they emerged inside the compound. What followed was 14 minutes of chaos, gunfire, explosions, smoke. By the time the sun rose, the stronghold was in flames. More than 2,000 militants were dead. 9 were captured. 1 was a key commander, Algerian-born, trained in Afghanistan, linked to over a dozen attacks across the Sahel. Burkina Faso had just won its most decisive battle in years. Al-Qaeda is weakened in Burkina Faso. Not gone, not yet, but bleeding, fractured, on the run. But Ibrahim Traoré knows better than to celebrate too long, because in wars like like these, the shadows always return. Still, the message was clear: Burkina Faso is no longer prey. And at its helm stands a man who walks with his people, fights without cameras, and leads like a lion in the tall grass, quiet, patient, deadly when provoked. This wasn't just a military operation. It was a reclamation of dignity, of pride, of home, and the war cry still echoes through the valleys, and the storm does not kneel.